Hey, welcome to the Publish, Promote, Profit podcast with me, Rob Kosberg. Every week, I interview thought leaders and experts who have used a book to grow their income and their impact. So tune in weekly for these interviews so you can learn how to use your own best-selling book and go from hunting for clients and opportunities to instead being the hunted. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Rob Kosberg here with another episode of Publish, Promote, Profit, the podcast. I'm with someone that I think is going to be of great help to you, especially if you're interested in the e-commerce world. Dr. Travis Zigler is a recovering optometrist. We're going to talk a little bit about what recovering means. Turned e-commerce entrepreneur. He's the founder of iLove, which is ilovethesun.com, I-E-I-E-Y-E. Whose mission is to heal 1 million dry eye sufferers naturally. We've already had a conversation about my dry eye problem, so we won't get into that on the podcast. But Dr. Travis and his wife, Dr. Jenna Zigler, used the profits from their iLove to fund free clinics in Jamaica and the U.S. Through their charity, the iLove Cares Foundation, ilovecares.org. Thank you for that. Thanks for your service to people. And I love when entrepreneurs like yourself give back. So, Dr. Travis, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Rob. This is great.
Yeah, I think we'll have some fun. It's a little bit different than maybe some of the podcasts you've done. And for those that are watching on YouTube, as you mentioned, my co-hosts are with me today, Bob and Finley, my Argentine Dogo and Bull Terrier. So if you see them in the background, try to not be too distracted. So maybe we could start with the obvious. Why does someone become a recovering optometrist, and what does that even mean? You obviously went through a lot of hard work and trouble to become an optometrist in the first place. So what does all that mean?
So let me first off say that your glasses are great, but they're too similar to mine. So I am going to switch glasses real quick just to make sure. Well, I want people to be able to tell us apart. So I'm just going to go with a different color here.
Fantastic.
And I just thought of that. So recovering optometrist. So I was an optometrist, graduated in 2010. And worked for my uncle for about 4 or 5 years. And I worked for my uncle while I was in undergrad as well and in optometry school. Felt an itch to do more, just a little backstory. Jumped, shipped, quit my job. We moved across the country, my wife and I did, and we started 2 practices of our own. Ran those for about 3.5 years. At the same time, we started this online business called iLove. iLove took off a lot faster because we can reach a bigger demographic, right, teaching people how to heal their dry eye naturally online versus seeing people one-on-one. The recovering part of that is medical profession is traumatizing now because it's not the doctor and the patient anymore. It's the doctor, the patient, and this big old insurance company right in the middle. Right. And it's terrible. It decreases care. I actually pay cash for all my doctors now. I don't even get an insurance company involved. Do I have insurance? Yes, I have like a Samaritan's Ministry plan, but you pay cash for all that, and it makes the relationship better because you're going to get more one-on-one time with that doctor because you're paying them cash, and the insurance company is not involved at all. So that insurance side, it really just burnt me out. And I told everybody I wanted to retire by the time I was 40 years old from optometry and not see patients anymore one-on-one. And my wife and I were lucky and fortunate enough to do it by the age of 33 and 32. Nice. So we're now all in on this online thing, 3 years strong, and we love every second of it because we have time and location freedom. And it's everything we wanted. And it's just a lot of fun. And we get to help and impact more people because we get to go on more mission trips per year. We used to go on one every 2 to 3 years. Now we go on 2 to 3 a year. And we didn't get to go last year, unfortunately, for COVID reasons. But what we did instead is we actually donated groceries. And so there are a lot of families in need, especially in third world countries like Jamaica, that they rely on tourism. That's their number one economic driver, and it's gone. And so a lot of these families just have no money. So we donated a lot of groceries down in that area just because they had so much need for food. And so even though we weren't able to go down there and do it ourselves, we were able to still help positively with our charity. That's why we do everything we do. We want to serve other people. And that's really what life's all about. If you're miserable or you're not happy, it's probably because you're not serving somebody else. Yeah. And once you start serving somebody else, that's when everything starts to change for your life, as far as your life just takes off and your happiness takes off as well. So I guess that's a recovering optometrist in a nutshell.
Well, that's good. Look, I appreciate your heart and your wife's heart, the things that you're doing clearly with both your charitable organization as well as the trips that you take obviously make a difference. And I think clearly you could not do that if it weren't for the transition that you made. So maybe talk to me about that for a minute. How did that happen? You don't just go from, 12 years of school to become an optometrist to we're going into the e-commerce, ebook, courses business. So how did that journey happen? What did it look like?
It's a great story, actually. So when we started our practices and when we started this online thing, the reason we started the online e-commerce journey is because I went from seeing 5 patients an hour at my uncle's practice to seeing 1 an hour when we opened up our new practices. So that slowdown made me bored. And idle hands tend to get creative or cause trouble depending on who you are.
Right.
And I found a course online, taught me how to sell on Amazon.com. And so I took the course. We actually started out as a sunglass company, hence the name ilovethesun.com. And we still sell a couple pairs of sunglasses, but we've kind of shifted our focus to more of a dry eye focus. And when we were on this journey, what we noticed is we were growing these practices, but the online business was growing exponentially faster than our practices were. Practices, 20% year over year, 30% year over year, doing great. But the first year in our online business, we grew 1,000%.
Wow.
And then the second year, we doubled again. And the third year, we doubled again. And so that doubling, the 10x and then the doubling year over year, we got on the Inc. 5000 list as a result of that, of fastest growing companies, and we should make it again this year. And it was just kind of a no-brainer for us to go all in. But the shift from being a sunglass company to dry eye happened because when we moved to South Carolina, we were going to start trying to have kids. And as fate would have it, we couldn't have kids. And my wife was told that she couldn't have any kids. And so we tried everything in the Western medicine realm other than IVF. We woke up the day of the IVF appointment after 3 years of trying different things. And we just didn't feel like it was right for us. We didn't want to put my wife's body through that. And so we then started exploring Eastern medicine. And we went to an Eastern medicine practitioner, acupuncture, started taking herbals, changed our diet a little bit. We're vegetarian for the most part, but we still eat. We just kind of adjusted a couple things.
Right.
And then we got pregnant in 3 months. So going from 3 years of trying to being told we can't have kids to IVF, maybe getting us pregnant, 20% chance, to getting pregnant 3 months later doing Eastern medicine. It shook us to our core because we were trained in Western medicine. That's all we knew. And so now I'm thinking about all my patients that I've been treating for dry eye with this drop and this drop and this prescription and this prescription. And I'm thinking, what if we just take a step back and approach it from an Eastern medicine standpoint and focus on their diet and just changing a couple things, focus on hydration, stress, sleep, all these things to just decrease the inflammation of our body, to get our body back into homeostasis or that balance. And then in turn, that's going to decrease the inflammation in our eyes, which is then going to lower the inflammation of our eyes. And well, I guess the same thing, and then your dry eye is going to go away.
Wow.
And so that whole shift led us to writing our book and starting to teach people this whole philosophy. We've sent thousands of people through a boot camp challenge that we made, and it's free. And the results are better than any of the prescription eye drops that are out on the market. And so our core was shaken and we just pivoted into more Eastern medicine and just learning that and functional medicine and just teaching it to more people. So that was like a lot of life events, and we're actually expecting our third child. It could be today. So,
hey, congratulations.
Yeah. So it's been a wild ride the last 3 years. That's for sure. Infertility no more, as you can tell from child number 3, but he's due on the 24th of March in 2021. So any day now.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations. I'd like to learn a little bit about the challenge that you're referring to. It sounds as though, much of the prescription, if you will, has to do with diet and what you're putting into your body that may cause inflammation. Can you talk a little bit about what the challenge, what is the challenge and is it specific to dry eyes?
Yeah, so we target dry eye. So my book is called Rethinking Dry Eye Treatment. I'm going to hold it up for the YouTubers, but Rethinking Dry Eye Treatment. And you can get this for free at dryeyebook.com. That's kind of our start of our funnel. And if you want the paperback version, you can buy it there, Audible, Kindle.
Yeah.
And then throughout this book, we talk about the challenge. We used to charge $4,000 to join the challenge because it was like hands-on functional medicine from us. But we then changed it to a free model. And so how we do that is it's another lead magnet for us. And you can visit that at dryeyebootcampchallenge.com.
Okay.
And in week 1, we teach you how to take care of your eyelids. And your eyelids are very important when it comes to your eye health because your eyelids produce oils that put oil onto the eye. The oil in the eye moisturizes, lubricates, protects your eyes. And 85% of people that have dry eye, it's usually a result of their eyelids being inflamed. And so week number 1, we teach you how to take care of your eyelids. Now, all the products that we mention are our products. And so we get them in with a free book or a free bootcamp challenge. And then week 1, and then what we talk about in the book with the eyelid hygiene part, it's all our products. And so that's how we profit from this.
Yeah.
And then week 2, we go into green smoothies. So we replace your breakfast with a green smoothie. We don't take away anything from you. We replace something, because taking away, people shut down right away.
Right.
But when we replace something, it's a little easier, because when you look at breakfast foods, bagels, donuts, cereal, any kind of dairy, sausage, bacon, all that is inflammatory. And so you're increasing the inflammation. But if you start your day out with a green smoothie, it's very alkalizing. So a very simple green smoothie is like a plant-based milk, some spinach, some berries, throw in a banana for flavor if you want. And that's it. That's a very simple one. And if you want to start adding other things like avocado is great. Not much flavor, thickens it up really nicely. Frozen cauliflower doesn't have much flavor, thickens it up nicely. Don't put fresh cauliflower because you will taste that. And then you can add like protein powders and things like that to make it flavorful even more. But you can make it as simple or complex as you want it. So we give them smoothie recipes. So that's kind of week 2. Week 3, hydration. So many people forget how to drink water. And I think it's around 90% of people are dehydrated today. It's because all they're doing is drinking soda and pop and juices, and they're not drinking water. I drink water and tea. That's pretty much it. And the occasional beer, but just occasional. So that's kind of the week 3. Week 4, I might get my weeks mixed up. Week 4, we start talking about getting away from non-organic food, starting to eat only organic, because non-organic food has pesticides, fertilizers. What are pesticides and fertilizers? They're poison. It's pure poison that you're putting in your body. It's made to kill something else. Right. So you're just a bigger version of that something else. And so you're slowly killing yourself by giving yourself cancer and heart disease and all this inflammation in your body from these pesticides and fertilizers. Then we go into what foods to remove. We're very gentle with that. So like those are like your processed foods, your sugary foods like white sugar, wheat and gluten, dairy. Those are all the most inflammatory foods that are out there. And then finally, we talk about how to sleep better, how to stress less. And then I got to run through all my weeks here. I think that's it. Good. Yeah, I think that's about it.
That's excellent. And so how often do you run this challenge? Obviously, going from $4,000 to free, pretty significant. How do you fill the challenge now? What does all that look like? And I know you're in e-commerce and probably Facebook ads and Instagram and expert, but talk me through how to fill it and all of that.
Yeah, so the goal is we try to get people on our website with blogs. So I sent you a blog before the podcast started that was all about how much your eyes water and why they water. So we get a question, or somebody searches on Google, why are my eyes watering? We have a Google ad that shows up for that blog post, not for a product that we sell, just for that blog post. Most people with Google ads are going after the product description words. They're not going after those long question words. And that's what we go after. So we try to think of the problem that the product solves. Yeah. And then we write a blog post on it. And then we drive traffic to that blog post. And we've been doing this for 3.5 years now. So we have hundreds of blog posts getting all this Google ad traffic. When we first started this strategy, we were getting about 1 new email a week. And the new email, we get that email by putting a pop-up on that blog post that says, get your free dry eye book. So get the free digital version of this book. Yeah. And then when you put your email address in, it goes to an upsell page that offers you to buy this book, right, or to buy any of our products. But that was our goal. So we got 1 per week. And then we started getting 1 per day. And now 3.5 years later, we're getting 200 per day. Wow. So we're getting 200 emails per day as a result of this strategy, long, persistent action over the course of a long period of time. And then we try to get them to join the bootcamp challenge. So the book talks about the bootcamp challenge, and we talk about it as well. And again, 1 simple step per week for 8 weeks to lead to lower inflammation and then to live a healthier lifestyle. Right. And so then they get in the bootcamp challenge, and then they start purchasing our products as a result. Or they may that's kind of your products right from the initial get-go too, right? We made it week 1 on purpose, just so then we can really see the front end numbers quickly. Right. And so then you know how much you can advertise for and everything.
So this is gold, by the way. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Love this. So one of the strategies that we have at Bestseller Publishing is, and I briefly mentioned it, we use my Wall Street Journal best-selling book, Publish, Promote, Profit, on the front end of a free plus shipping funnel. That free plus shipping funnel, then, for $7.95, they get literally a free copy of the book. And then there's a number of upsells and downsells, ultimately to potentially working with us for ghostwriting or a book launch or publishing or PR and media, whatever. And so we know we're spending, $50 to sell a book, but the funnel itself is earning us $35 or whatever. So we're still in the red a little bit, but not very much. I share all that to say and to ask, what are you spending with the Google AdWords that you're doing on a daily basis, driving traffic? If you don't mind me asking, if you don't want to say, that's fine. But what are you spending, and what kind of results do you see from that on a regular basis? Because that's pretty gold strategy right there.
Yeah, we've been scaling the strategy for quite some time, and this is just off the top of my head. I'm going to try to think. So with just the Google ad strategy, we're spending about, I'd say, $15,000 a month on this strategy. This is over time, 3.5 years we've been building up to this. That $15,000 a month is turning into about $50,000 in revenue for us, not just from the book sales, but that's a small portion of it, but product sales as well.
Yeah.
So we have the book sales and we have the product sales, both.
Yeah.
And so spending 15 to make 45 usually per month.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. So it's about a 3 to 4 ROAS.
Right.
So we are in the black from the get-go from this.
Yeah.
If we're not getting a 2 ROAS or above on a blog post, we'll actually shut it down. We'll try to optimize it first, and then we usually shut it down.
And for those listening, ROAS is return on ad spend. So
yes, sorry.
No worries.
So the Google ad strategy is just one part of our marketing. And then we have remarketing with Facebook. We do a remarketing with Amazon ads.
Yeah.
And then we also spend a lot of money on Amazon PPC. And so, just creating that one consistent action, that persistence of Google ads with a blog post has just created this ROAS. But we didn't get that ROAS right away. We were at the 1 to 2 ROAS at the beginning.
Right.
But as your blog starts to get traction, that's when everything takes off. So then we get an email address. We try to sell them. If they don't buy, we continually expose them to blog posts over and over again. So what is dry eye? What causes dry eye? What are dry eye treatments? What else could I do for dry eye? What is IPL? What is LipiFlow? What is Restasis? All these different things that we can come out with blog posts, and we just continue to get them back on the blog, and that continues to decrease our ad spend, and it increases our return on ad spend.
Yeah,
so
beautiful. I love that. I would
it's a long.
When I go to this blog post, I'm going to get retargeted, and I'm going to start receiving a lot of different blog posts, which is good.
You will get an email probably every 2 days from us.
Love it. That's great. I love the strategy. My other assumption, and please tell me if this is correct or not, but my assumption is that because of the keywords you're targeting, they're not really buyer keywords. There's probably a much cheaper cost per click in that situation. And I would also assume that because you're driving them directly to a blog post, which is information, that Google really likes that. And so maybe even increases your SEO or the opportunity for some organic traffic. Can you speak to that for a moment?
Yeah, so your assumptions are really good. So first of all, when you're going after a problem that your product solves versus just going after the product, then you can get a lot lower cost per click. So we're getting some cost per clicks in the 1 cent range.
Unbelievable. Beautiful.
And so we're getting for $5 a day, we're getting 500 visitors on a blog post.
That's incredible. That's beautiful.
And so I will pay that all day long. Some other blog posts are in the 20 cents, but still 20 cents to get people to put eyes on your website. And so this content, what we also have is a video. We always have a YouTube video that accompanies that. That came later. Yeah. We didn't do that right away, but now we do it. So then they're watching a YouTube video on our blog. So again, like you were saying, Google loves that because they're just sitting on our blog. And the longer somebody sits on your blog and interacts with it, the more it's going to shoot up in SEO. SEO is not a strategy for us, but it's a side benefit of it. We do not worry about SEO. It's there, but it's not huge in our book because when you're paying 1 cent, I'd rather pay 1 cent for a visitor all day long than worry about SEO.
I agree wholeheartedly. Great strategy.
We just flood with that cheap traffic. And we've tried this in different areas. So dry eyes, where we focus on now, but we've done it in paleo, we've done it in keto, we've done it in intermittent fasting, we've done it in all these other categories. We do it with our agency. So I have an agency on the side called Profitable Pineapple Ads, and we write articles on how to do Amazon advertising. We teach you our strategy for free. And when you get on that website, it goes through the exact same process. So I told you this before we got on, but we just released a book at the day of this recording, and we haven't even incorporated that into the funnel yet because we have a free Amazon PPC course, we have a paid course, and then we have our agency. And so we do that same thing. It's not quite as cheap for the clicks on that. We're paying more like 50 cents to 75 cents, but our lifetime value isn't, $300 like it is in iLove. It's more like, 10 to 20 to sometimes $50,000 for a client.
Right. That's a beautiful strategy. I wonder, this may be difficult to answer, but is there a strategy that you employ to find those questions that you can answer in a blog post that aren't directly related to a buyer, but that clearly are sending someone with that problem? Like, how would that be interpreted to a completely different industry, whatever that industry is? Does that question make sense?
I think so. I'm trying to think of so a good example would be like Restasis.
Okay.
Restasis is a prescription. Let me know if I'm going off of what you asked, but
you're on track, I think. Yeah, I get where you're going with it.
So Restasis is a drug that people are always researching because they get prescribed it. It's $500 a month, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So they're typing in Restasis coupon, or how does Restasis work? Is Restasis worth it? Yeah. So then we have blog posts that talk about the Restasis coupon. We have blog posts that talk about Restasis reviews from real clients and customers. We have blog posts that just talk about the mechanism of action of Restasis.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with our products, and our products aren't really even mentioned on the blog post, but they're getting on our dry eye blog, which then we can retarget them. They get into a Facebook pixeled audience. We pop them up with, hey, looks like you have dry eye. Check out our free dry eye book. And so I think this is answering your question, but completely unrelated to our product, but related. But those people that are looking for Restasis have been prescribed. They're under the doctor's care plan. Now we have to try to convince them to go away from Western medicine, or not go away from it, but in conjunction with that, follow our protocol in Eastern medicine and functional medicine. So did that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. I think obviously it will take some thought for somebody, but the idea is you're obviously staying on topic and on subject matter, but you're using ancillary pieces of it. In your case, anybody that gets a prescription for Restasis clearly has a dry eye problem. And so it's not a buyer keyword because you're not selling that prescription drug. However, because they're looking for that means that they have the same problem that you solve, and perhaps a better solution for them is your solution rather than Restasis.
And that's exactly right. And then to go into just another quick example, you brought this up earlier. Is your book just for dry eye? And it's not. We market it towards dry eye, but you can literally replace dry eye with anything like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol.
Right.
And you can follow the steps in the book to reduce the inflammation in your body, to heal yourself from those diseases. You just wouldn't do the eyelid hygiene part if you had diabetes. So we feel like we've maxed out kind of the dry eye space as far as blog articles. So what we're doing now is we're trying to go after people that have something like glaucoma. So glaucoma is a disease of the eye, nothing to do with dry eye, because you're trying to decrease the pressure inside your eye, because the pressure inside your eye is causing damage to the nerve of your eye, and the nerve is what communicates your eye to your brain. So what we know, being optometrists, is that most glaucoma patients have dry eye. And so we can get a flood of traffic around glaucoma, and then we have to see if they have dry eye by trying to pick them out. Another example would be rosacea. Rosacea, nothing to do with dry eye, but a little bit to do with dry eye. But the same concepts hold true with rosacea. And then macular degeneration. This is in the back of the eye. And macular degeneration is where you're losing your central vision. Nothing to do with dry eye. But people that have macular degeneration tend to be in their 70s and 80s. They tend to be women, which is our target demographic. Right. So then we're trying to get them on a blog post to try to get them to convert over to our dry eye products.
Right. Love it. No, I love the thinking. I think anybody that is looking to use a book or their expertise and maybe sell e-commerce or even higher ticket stuff, this is a great, great strategy. In fact, it's a strategy that I am totally going to rip off and employ because we do some blogging, and we're doing more and more blogging now that our content marketing has really ramped up. But I love the idea of running traffic. We run a lot of AdWords traffic. But we're scooping the cream with AdWords, meaning that we're going right for just the buyer keywords, et cetera, because we sell a high-ticket service. However, driving them to the blog post, then retargeting, et cetera, great, great strategy. So I see you're giving me something in the chat to look at. I will take a look at that.
So that is actually a free training on my agency's blog post or blog that teaches that whole strategy I just said. I actually did a live training about a year and a half ago on exactly how we did it. It is based on selling a product on Amazon. So if you sell your book on Amazon, you can use that exact strategy. And I'm sure we'll have it in the show notes down below too. Yeah. And it's just to warn you, you will be retargeted.
No, I like retargeting. I'm an ad junkie. I like it.
Yeah.
I like to see what smart people are doing to be successful in their business. So,
but yeah, that's a free training. You don't even have to put your email in to get the free training, but it works. And then I think I have the pop-up on there for our free masterclass. So if you're an Amazon author, or if you're an author of any kind, then that masterclass is going to teach you how to use Amazon PPC to sell more books.
Love it. We'll put that in the show notes for everybody listening, because obviously many of our clients are authors. And of course, many of the people that we work with directly, this could be beneficial to. Let's change gears just a little bit, although you've already shared a lot of your marketing strategies. But, I like to talk about, obviously, the things that you're doing within your expertise, but I also like to transition. The whole idea of Publish, Promote, Profit is publishing your book, publishing your content, promoting it, and then using it to make an income and an impact on the world, which you're obviously doing. So can you talk to me about, what your book has done for you, for your business? You shared a little bit about using it on the front end as a free giveaway and then selling it. How instrumental has your book been to your business and what you have today?
I think it's bigger than you think, but it's hard to measure it because a book just gives you that instant authority that you're an author, that you took the time to write a book. And a lot of people think that writing a book is difficult, but if you have a great plan, which I'm sure you guys do, then it's very easy to write a book. And we were already creating blog posts and we were already creating all this content. So then we just put it into a book format. That's what we did. And so the book itself, that instant authority piece, we have doctors that buy our book to give to their patients.
Wow.
And so that's really cool to see. Doctors are reading it and kind of shifting their mindset a little bit. Because like I said, in Western medicine, we don't learn any of this. And then I feel like we're creating a revolution around dry eye care. And we're kind of spearheading that. There are doctors getting on board now with taking this Eastern Western medicine approach based on what we've been able to come out with online, on YouTube, on Facebook, our book. All of that has kind of shifted the mentality of some doctors. Now, at the same time, we have a lot of doctors on board with us. Then we have a lot of doctors that just absolutely hate us. And so,
of course,
whatever you throw out to the world, expect it to get some polarizing points of view. Yeah. And, there have been times that my wife has been in tears because of what doctors have said to us, because people are cruel.
They are cruel.
And it all stems from jealousy.
Yeah.
And it's because you did something that they didn't have the guts to do.
Right.
And so the book can do so much for you. It can give you confidence. It can give you authority. It can give you, of course, sales. And then it gives you trust, because literally this is sitting on over 4,000 people's bookshelves, coffee tables. It's been read. It's been listened to. We've been in their ear multiple times with our YouTube channel, with our audiobook, and it gives you that trust. People, when I meet people that either have followed me for a while, either on my agency side or on the Dry Eye Show side, they feel like they're meeting celebrities.
Yeah.
It's funny because, I'm just a guy working at my home office, writing a book and coming out with videos. And so it gives you that authority push. And then like for the agency side, where it's a high ticket item, just like yours is, it makes it a lot easier to close somebody because they've seen me multiple times on YouTube videos. So when I get on a phone call with them, they already know, like, and trust me.
Yeah.
Otherwise they wouldn't be on that call. So it's a very easy close at that point. It's not even closing. It's just a matter of seeing if we're comfortable together. Same thing with the dry eye side. It's easier to close somebody for a sale because they already know, like, and trust us. They've seen us multiple times. They've gotten to know us. And so that's what a book can do for you, is it can kind of create this holistic, like, just know, like, and trust when you haven't even met the person.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And obviously, you and your wife are two people, and you can only do so much. And you have, 4,000 little soldiers out there in the form of your book, winning people over to your thinking, your mindset, and your cures, your actual help. And so obviously you could never replicate that just on your own. I mean, you'd be exhausted from all that.
Yes.
It seems like one last thing, and then maybe we can tell them where best to find you, although we've given them a bunch of different links. We'll maybe give them one or two to focus on. But it seems like your book is at the centerpiece of everything that you do. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but even your blog post strategy, your various ad strategies seem to eventually lead people back to your book. Is the book kind of the centerpiece of your funnel, or is it not? And if it is, how is that working? And is there any moving away from that, or what does that look like?
So we have a hero product that is the centerpiece of our funnel.
Okay.
That hero product, we wake up every day saying, how can we sell more of this product? And when we know somebody can get on that product, because the problem with the pain industry is everybody's looking for that quick fix. And if you can't give them that quick fix, they don't care about anything else that you offer. And so the book is more of a slow fix for us. It's more of one of those long-term plays. So we have a product that actually gets to the source of the problem, and it gives you relief quickly. So that's kind of the main point of our funnel. And then what we use the book for is to give them a different point of view from anything they've ever heard. And so when they come across the book and they start reading it, or the boot camp, because they're kind of the same thing, they always say after the first chapter or two, I have never been told this about my dry eye.
Right.
I have never even been educated on any of this. And so then that's why we call it Rethinking Dry Eye Treatment, because it's a whole different thought process around treating your dry eye. And then they start to kind of shift their mentality around it. And then once you can shift somebody's mentality on something like a severe dry eye or something in pain, and it works, they're going to promote you, love you forever. Like you said, 4,000 foot soldiers, but more have gone through the boot camp. We have YouTube subscribers. We have an email list that's a lot bigger. And once you shift their beliefs on how they treat their dry eye, which is what our book and our boot camp does, then they're pretty much going to be raving customers of ours for life, because we've changed their life. And that's what it's all about. And that's what gives us the biggest satisfaction, is we get to change people's lives with just simply with a book. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. Show them that you can help them by actually helping them.
It's a novel concept.
Novel idea, right? You don't have to convince them of anything when you've actually helped somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis, look, I love what you're doing. I love your heart in all of this, and really happy for you and your wife on child number 3. It sounds like you've been blessed a lot in your life, and have really made a difference in a lot of people's lives. So let us know where best the listeners can find you, where they should start. I think they need your book for sure, but where best to find you and start down that path.
So if you do have dry eye, head to dryeyebook.com and check it out. You can see our whole funnel there. Yep. And just go there, even if you're marketing, just to see our funnel. It's super simple. We don't complicate it, because our target demographic is that postmenopausal female. And so we try to keep it as incredibly simple. I always have my mom in the back of my head, just trying to, whenever I'm creating anything new. So dryeyebook.com for that. And then we do have an Amazon ads course. It teaches people how to use Amazon advertising effectively. And that's at profitablepineapple.com. We do also have an agency. We don't work with authors yet, because unfortunately, Amazon does not let us use our technology for Amazon ads for authors, but maybe in the future. So if you're listening to this in 2022, then reach out. You never know. But the free course that we offer, absolutely free. All you have to do is put in your email. That is 100% geared towards more of a manual Amazon ads process. And if you're an author, it will work perfectly for you. So definitely go through that.
Love it. Love it. Travis, thank you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for sharing some real gold, some stuff I plan on stealing. So if you pay attention to my funnels, you'll see we'll be running some traffic to blog posts and that kind of thing. But sincerely wish you the best with your wife and the birth of your 3rd child. Good luck with that. And look forward to maybe Amazon opening it up for authors and us being able to send you some clients down the road.
That would be awesome. But Rob, thanks for having me on.